Good afternoon, everyone. This is my assignment 2, the social networking interview. I'm Joshua Macha, and this was for INT7213 Emerging Technologies with Professor Mac. So just kind of give you a quick overview of the agenda. I'm going to introduce the candidate I interviewed for this assignment. I am going to give you the questions and along with the audio of the full interview that I had. I'm going to show you references, and I'll take questions at the end. Let's talk about the man, Tom Mochenross, the man I interviewed. He is currently an account manager for Media Brands Publishing, and Media Brands Publishing handles the social networking arm of Dodge's marketing presence. Tom specifically works on the Dodge social team, and what he does is he works with all the major social networking platforms to help promote Dodge's brand. This includes Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, along with a few other social media sites. He is a major contributor to the Dodge brand's extensive online presence, so it was a real treat to be able to interview him and get some of the insights of him on the inside and kind of get the inner workings of how a social media person thinks and how they approach each and every job.
Okay, good afternoon. Treat for you today. We have Tom Mochenross. He is an account manager on the Dodge Social here, and he's going to be partaking in this interview with me today. So Tom, the first question I have for you, it relates to your current role, and what are some of the day-to-day tasks you perform in regards to working with social media, in regards to promoting your organization?
So in terms of promoting our organization, not so much, since I work on a particular client, that being Dodge, just to clarify. With regard to promoting Dodge, the day-to-day can be anything from generating post copy for one-off posts that come up, to helping to manage our community manager, helping him generate copy, find imagery, talk to fans, that sort of thing. We also, on a day-to-day basis, deal with a client contact, and that contact brings us information with regard to what's coming out, new car releases, events that Dodge might be attending. Dodge has a very enthusiastic fan base, and they go to a lot of car shows and events. We'd love to capitalize upon those to get copy and content.
Cool. All right, the next question I have is kind of like the resource side. What resources do you need to effectively manage these sites from day to day?
That's a good question. At this particular company, we use quite a few very powerful tools. We just signed on with a new tool for managing Instagram, which is actually a huge deal. That has been the hardest one to get into. Another piece of software, I can't remember what that piece of software is called. I think we just signed up for it today. Another thing that we use on a day-to-day basis is Sprinklr. Sprinklr is an exceptional piece of software. It's very, very deep. It gives you all the information you could possibly need. Lots and lots of power with regard to customizing for what you want from the reporting side, for posting and scheduling and monitoring. It covers all the bases. It's actually Sprinklr is a very powerful piece of software that covers every aspect.
Yeah, I always wondered Sprinklr, so that's good to know.
It's nice.
So kind of moving over to the security side of things with social media, obviously there are some security concerns.
Yep.
So from your perspective, what kind of concerns do you have when you use social media?
Honestly, your biggest fear with regard to managing a site for a massive brand is upset employee leaving. We go to great lengths to change passwords every month. If anyone is dismissed or decides to leave the organization, we change passwords pretty much immediately, so that there's no issues of runaway, and it happens. You hear about that stuff all the time. But yeah, privacy is another concern to a certain extent. We, as content managers, are often we don't reveal ourselves as such. We want to appear to be speaking as the brand. So different organizations have different rules for that, but we typically focus on appearing to be the brand's voice. But then, keeping things safe for the brand is another primary concern.
Definitely. So the last two questions kind of deal with collaboration, and social media is all about collaboration. What kind of collaborative development opportunities this can range from, like engaging specific communities or demographics, starting conversations, product improvement feedback, things like that. What has the social media given Dodge by using social media?
Good question. Like I said before, we have a very enthusiastic fan base. We have a couple of ideas that I won't go into too much detail because we're still trying to get them passed through. But we do collaborate with our fans. Actually, if you look at the Dodge social channels, you'll see a lot of what we call UGC, user-generated content.
I actually learned about that the other day.
Yeah, those are all, for example, almost 90% of our content are images shot by owners that we post to our social channels. Those particular posts get a lot of enthusiastic fans. They love it. They just, I mean, it gets them to hit those like buttons and start submitting comments.
And that's the goal.
Like, you know, this is what I want to do with my challenger, that sort of thing. It gets people fired up. They love seeing.
It's awesome to see the you know, the collaboration with all this.
They love it.
And then just the last question I have, I want to kind of focus specifically on Twitter as the platform.
Okay.
How do you use Twitter in particular to grow your organization's presence and kind of give Dodge that competitive advantage over its competitors, Ford, GM, things like that?
Sure, that's a great question. Twitter is such a real-time platform. A lot of the stuff that we do on a day-to-day basis is just the planning of what we call, you know, bed content. What I mean by that is we lay that stuff out, we plan that out. A lot of times we'll jump on trends as they appear. Sometimes we have to be reactionary to those. We try to plan for those. But yeah, if a trend pops up, we'll jump on it as best we can. Sometimes our approval process can hamper that a little bit because there's a lot of pillars of both you know, copy, imagery, legal on our end, and also on Fiat Chrysler on their end. So, you know, sometimes those barriers can be hard to break through, but we try to get them up as quickly as possible. Twitter is also unique insofar as it's more of a one-on-one. If you start to engage with other brands or other accounts, we try to do that as much as possible, but we have a pretty large fan base, so it's hard to do a lot of those one-on-one conversations. Getting more timely about sharing any new press release is going to be valuable. We see good return on those types of posts. And we're always looking for new and engaging ways to utilize Twitter. We actually went and discussed with Twitter. It's nice working for a big brand because you actually have account people you can talk to who work directly for the channels. We spoke with folks from Twitter last week about some of their upcoming content types, and we saw some interesting opportunities. Some of the buy-ins, some of them you have to put spend behind even to use them, and it's a big barrier to entry, but we could see them being pretty cool if we can get in there.
Well, that's very great. I want to thank you again for your taking your time, and I'm sure classmates will love all the content and things you provided. So I want to thank you again, Tom.
My pleasure.
So that was Tom giving us kind of an overview. He really did a great job, and I really love that he incorporated the user-generated content as we kind of just learned about that. So real good stuff from Tom there. Thanks again, Tom. So that was just kind of thanks again, Tom, for the great interview. Here are a couple of my references. A few of the articles I found that helped me develop the questions, as well as Tom himself. So thank you again for listening to my presentation today. If you do have any questions for me or Tom, you can definitely email me or contact me. I can get a hold of Tom and maybe get some more questions answered. And thanks again for listening to my presentation. I really appreciate it. And I hope you learned as much as I did from Tom's insights. I know they were really great, and I definitely learned a lot. Thanks again.